Hey traders, this is Cousin Vinny coming to you on June the 3rd, Sunday evening rather, with a look at the ES, the spiders, maybe the Qs and the Russell for the week ahead. Now, Friday we had a pretty bad day, to say the least. And what I'm looking at is this retracement from the May highs down to this May low, okay, that pivot in, where we retrace back up to the 382, which is what we were saying to watch out for, what happens here. And we had an immediate move down back below the 150 and a doji, and then sellers were in control on Friday. So what I'm looking at presently is this down move and a ratio trade to the downside, okay, which coincides pretty much with the 1618 extension, okay. That's based on a loss of this 1287.38 area. Okay, so ratio trade, we had to move down, we had to move the weak move back up to the 382. The shorts repositioned themselves and made ready for a move down. Of course, the non-farm payrolls numbers that came out on Friday didn't help. So we had a quick move down through this 100% retracement level. Okay. The Qs look pretty much the same. We're drawing those fibs. Okay. We have the potential to get down at least to the 127 extension. Okay. So, but what I am looking for is a similar move down and a ratio trade here as well. Okay. Which would put us right at the 1618 extension. It's not too often that this happens. But when it does happen, it's pretty obvious. I'm not saying that this is definitely going to play out, but it's something that you should consider going into this week. Okay. One other thing I forgot to mention on the ES was, with this ratio trade down, I'm also looking at the confluence from the October low to this area here, which is the 618. Okay, retracement for this up move. So it's a good area for a move down. Okay, I'd love to see us stop at the 50% level. The only way I'll get into longs is if we do bounce at the 50% level or the 127, and we have a follow through day or two to the upside, and we start to see IBD, Investors Business Daily, calling a market bottom. Presently, I'm just looking at a few of the stocks that have shown relative strength, like Disney, AT&T, Verizon, and stocks similar to that didn't see the same degree of magnitude to the downside. So with the Russell, we can see that we broke down through the 382 right here. Okay, 50% level is next, so I'd keep an eye on the Russell for that particular level. Okay, note stochastics turn back over. We also have to look at this potential here with this pattern that's playing out. Okay, and there's always a possibility the Fed could step in at any time. We could have central banks intervene together. Okay, there's all sorts of things that can happen, so keep that in mind for this scenario to play out. Okay, so with stocks like Disney, we held Kijun. Okay, we had this breakout area here where we looked pretty good. We came right back down to that level and stopped on Friday. So with a stock like Disney, I'm keeping an eye on it for possible continuation move or move back down to the Kumo. Okay, looking at Disney with a regular chart, Bollinger Bands, we could trade the upper and lower Bollinger Bands and watch for this move down to the 50. So if you're still in that trade and didn't take profits, you could sell some covered calls up here. Okay, hopefully we get some sort of bounce on Monday. You could get the high of the day. And if we start to see it turn over, you could, to maintain this position, you could sell some covered calls up here, 45s or the 46s, okay, or weeklies or whatever. to bring down your cost average on your position. I'm completely out of this particular position. AT&T, that was another one that had really nice relative strength. You can see that we're holding the 10 period on the daily, and looking at the Kumo, I have a nice cloud formation here. We have Chico above price. We have these continuous breakouts above the highs. We came back down to this high here. Okay, and note where we came down to Tickensen and moved back up. So VZ, same area, same sector, a little bit weaker stock, but we had this breakout here that we've held so far. So I'd watch, if you're still in this position, I would watch for a move down to Kijun and a move back up. Looking at the regular chart, again, same situation where we can play the upper lower Bollinger Band. We're trying to hold the 20 period, so keep that in mind, and also watch for all of this volume at price here, the vacuum that could lend some support. Okay, so if we zoom out on this a little bit, you can see where all the support is down here. If we look at the weekly, you can see this is a very strong looking stock, and we have this level right here down at the 20 period that we can keep an eye on for a shelf for support. Okay, and we can also watch this level right here where we broke out. Okay, I'm still in VZ. I sold some covered calls to bring down my cost average. I believe I'm at right around 38 and some change now with those covered calls, the weeklies. Oh, excuse me, the regular calls there. Stocks like IBM, you can see that we had a considerable move down. Okay, still looking weak. We took out this lower trend line. So there you go. We're right on the 200 period, potential bounce area. Okay, I'd be watching MACD and stochastics. Okay, watch your histogram. Saw a few people talking about Cree. I think it was no doji on Friday. This one's riding the lower Bollinger Bands down until this moves back into the Bollinger Bands and closes above this level here. I wouldn't even consider taking this presently. We look at the Kumo. There's levels down here where we could see support. Okay, but for me, it's not something I would trade. Microsoft had quite a move down from this high in May. Okay, levels here that we're at. We filled this gap, but it's a very bearish looking chart. VXP we looked at, I believe Thursday. Right, we were right at the Kumo, and we were looking at a trade there on the 31st. Right, we had this move up, and if you were lucky enough to get in at the 104 level, you're doing quite well at the moment. I'd watch the Kumo on the 5-minute and the 60-minute. Still looking pretty bearish, but we're at a level of double bounce area, so I'd keep that in mind as well. I'm not in BXB. I never got filled. I was looking for puts when gold got into it. Okay. All right. So this is Cousin Vinny coming to you on Sunday the 3rd. We'll have to look at the week ahead. Remember to use your stops and keep an eye on the. Oh, you know what? Let's look at gold. And of course, gold had quite a move last week as well. So I would watch this level here, though, on Kumo to be resistance at 160. If you can see, if we can get back up to that level and stochastics gets overbought, it's a good area for a short, considering everything that's happened during the last week. So, and with regard to copper, keep an eye on this because we did hit a low last week on Tuesday, and although it's not a very strong looking chart, there is a potential for a move back off of this pivot to the 382. Okay, so keep that in mind. If HG does start to move back higher, we could see the market turn, being a leading indicator and so forth. Alright, so this is Cousin Vinny coming to you on the 3rd of June, Sunday evening. where it's presently nice out. It was raining before. The Crawfish Festival was this weekend. Michael Arnott up in northwest Jersey. If you got up there, hope you had a good time. We'll talk to you soon. See you in the room. Take care.